The 1963 Federal Reserve gold drain and the London gold pool collapse in 1963, something terrifying began happening inside America's most secure vaults. Gold, America's ultimate guarantee of global power, was disappearing. Not stolen, not misplaced, but drained, quietly, systematically, in a way almost nobody understood. Behind closed doors, in the gold vaults beneath Fort Knox, alarm bells were ringing. Inside the Federal Reserve, panic spread through officials. And inside the polished rooms of London, a secret alliance of 8 nations was struggling to keep the world's financial system from collapsing. This is the hidden story of the Federal Reserve gold drain, the London gold pool, and the global crisis that forced the United States to kill the gold standard forever. After World War II, the global economy was rebuilt under the Bretton Woods system, a monetary structure that tied every major currency to the US dollar, and tied the dollar to gold at $35 per ounce. To the world, the US seemed invincible. It controlled 2/3 of the planet's gold. The dollar was as good as gold itself, but behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Europe was recovering faster than expected. Exports were rising. Currencies were strengthening. And slowly, relentlessly, Europe started demanding gold instead of dollars. This wasn't normal trading. This was a message: the world no longer fully trusted America's promise. By 1958, gold began flowing out of the US at an alarming rate, not in small amounts, but in hundreds of tons. By late 1960, the situation was becoming critical. Narrator. So the central bankers met, in secret, at Bank of England, representatives from Federal Reserve, US Treasury, Bank of England, Bundesbank, Banque de France, plus Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Switzerland gathered around a long wooden table. Their mission: stop the world from draining US gold and destroying the global system. Their solution was extraordinary. They secretly formed the London Gold Pool, an agreement where 8 nations would jointly defend the $35 price of gold. Anytime the price rose, they would sell gold in London. Anytime it fell, they would buy. It was one of the most ambitious monetary alliances in modern history, and it stayed hidden from the public. When President John F. Kennedy entered office, he inherited a crisis. Foreign governments were converting dollars to gold at a rate America could not sustain. The U.S. gold stock fell from 20,000 tons after World War II to 16,000 tons, to 14,000 tons and dropping. Kennedy launched aggressive measures, cutting the U.S. balance of payments deficit, controlling capital outflows, negotiating directly with European leaders. But the problem was structural. The world needed more dollars for trade, but didn't trust those dollars enough to hold them. The dollar was both the foundation and the threat to the system. By 1963, the gold drain accelerated again. Speculators bet the US would eventually devalue. They bought gold in London, sold dollars, and prepared for a monetary earthquake. Enter France. President Charles de Gaulle believed the United States held unfair power over the world. He argued that the dollar's special role allowed America to buy the world's goods with its own paper. In 1965, de Gaulle shocked the international community. He ordered the Banque de France to convert massive amounts of US dollars into gold, and then sent a French naval ship to New York to collect it. It was a political statement, a warning, and a direct challenge to U.S. dominance. The London Gold Pool suddenly found itself under enormous pressure. Demand for gold surged. Confidence in the $35 peg crumbled. By 1967, the world sensed the end was near. Britain devalued the pound. Investors panicked. They rushed into gold as a safe haven. The London Gold Pool had to dump huge amounts of gold onto the market just to stabilize the price. The U.S. supplied 50% of this gold. Other nations were exhausting their reserves too. In March 1968, the breaking point arrived. More than 400 tons of gold were demanded in just a few days. The central bankers knew the truth. If they kept defending the price, they would drain every vault they had. On March 14th, they gathered for an emergency meeting in London. That night, after hours of debate, the decision was made. The London gold pool was dead. They shut down the London gold market, something that had not happened even during wartime.
After the collapse, the U.S. and its partners created a temporary fix. The two-tier gold system. Official transactions between central banks would stay at $35 per ounce. The free market could trade gold at any price. This was supposed to buy time, but in reality, it created contradictions. Central banks said gold was worth $35. Markets said it was worth much more. The world no longer believed in the official price. Between 1968 and 1971, foreign nations continued demanding U.S. gold. America's reserves fell below 9,000 tons. Confidence collapsed further. Something had to break. By summer 1971, the pressure was overwhelming. Foreign central banks, especially Bundesbank and Bank of England, were preparing to convert billions of U.S. dollars into gold. If they succeeded, the U.S. gold stock could fall below 6,000 tons, a catastrophic psychological blow. Inside the White House, President Richard Nixon met with top advisors, Henry Kissinger, John Connell, as senior officials from the Federal Reserve. On August 15, 1971, Nixon faced a choice. 1. Devalue the dollar. 2. Raise interest rates sharply. 3. Or break the Bretton Woods system entirely. I chose the third option. Narrator dramatic. And with a single televised announcement, the world changed. Nixon told the American public he was closing the gold window, ending the right of foreign governments to convert dollars into gold. The gold standard was dead. Bretton Woods collapsed. The modern fiat system was born.
After 1971, gold was allowed to float freely. The price immediately shot above $40, then $100, then $800 by 1980. The collapse of the London gold pool revealed something uncomfortable. The U.S. had promised more gold than it could deliver. Foreign nations had more dollars than America had gold to back them. The system could only survive through confidence. And once that confidence shattered, the structure fell apart. The gold drain was not a sudden crisis. It was to decades of economic imbalances, political tensions, and quiet battles behind closed doors. Today, few people know the story of the Federal Reserve gold drain. Fewer know that the world's financial system nearly collapsed long before 2008. But the biggest lesson is this: when a currency's strength depends on confidence not backing the entire system, becomes a game of trust. In the 1960s, that trust evaporated. In 1971, the U.S. made a choice, and the world has been living in the age of fiat money ever since.